Dude, I never know how to share the video. I get it all the time, like Scene Snobs is going live with this video, and I'm like, how do you share it? How do you share it?
I don't know. This is all automated.
Oh wait, there's a button that says share.
Well, share it.
Okay,
wait,
cool.
We're on.
Oh, okay. You're listening to share this video so that I can see it later because I'm vain. But for those that are tuning in that know what's up, my name is Zack, and this is Dylan on this side over here today. And we are Some Nobodies, and this is our website, Some Nobodies. And what you're watching is a show that we call Twitching UpStream. I'm going to get comfy here and just chill in my chair if that's okay.
You deserve it.
Thank you. So, Twitching UpStream is an offshoot of our normal show, which is called Talking UpStream. And that comes out every Sunday. And in that show, what we do is we have a guest on that's some sort of creator, whether it's a cool podcast that we like, a movie, a board game, even a Dungeons and Dragons thing, anything at all that we find creative. We like to sit down with them and chat with them. So, what we decided to do was throw some stuff out there because we like to chat with people live. We like to make sure that you guys get to help our stories become a little bit cooler and it just kind of pop out of the spectrum of just me and Dylan and our guest, who's always very creative. So we decided to do this thing where it's live. So at any time while we're making up a story, please shout out an idea, give us a suggestion, try to make this thing swerve in a cool way. Let's see where we can go with it. So if you're watching this at home, or home, whatever. If you're watching this anywhere at all, please just comment and let us know, A, you're watching. We do appreciate it. And B, where we should go with the story.
Well, Sara is here.
Sara who? This Sara?
Drummer Kick That.
Oh, well, okay. Well, let's just start things off real fast. We do have so normally we start off with a little bit of a like media news or anything, and which is just something that we find very interesting and important. But today there's something a little bit more important, and that is one of our very, very best friends, one of our favorite people in the whole world, Sara Tkachuk from the East Coast. It is her birthday today. She is 30 years old. Ha ha ha. Dirty 30, right? Dylan, you'll be there soon.
I was there in October and currently still am.
See, Dylan's 32, so everybody's dirty. Anyway, I made a cake for a tiny little cake for Sara, and it's funfetti. It is vegan, so I'm going to eat it without her. And it is there's 3 candles on here, 3 time zones, kind of a way, 3 decades of being alive. Either way, I wanted to tell you that I love you and I appreciate you, and you have made our dreams come true. You have funded things and helped us get things moving. So real quick, what we're going to do is I'm going to sing to you real fast, if that's okay. I'm going to sing Happy Birthday. What are you doing?
Keep talking.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay.
I don't know how this is going to play on the mic, but we're going to try it.
Yeah, I was hoping this would happen. So Dylan's going to play a song. I'm going to sing Happy Birthday. I feel that song is public domain now. So we're allowed to say it, right?
Yes, but give me a second. I think a ukulele is probably more fitting for the state of my microphone. It's probably horrendously out of tune. I haven't played it in a long time.
It's okay. It sounds way better than my Black Panther ukulele.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're starting.
I apologize, Sara. I don't know you, and I hope this isn't a bad first impression.
Are you?
I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Ugh. I don't think this is it.
Happy birthday, dear Sara Tkachuk, which I don't know how to spell it, although I do know how to say it now. Happy birthday to
Oh yeah, there it is.
You.
It's out of tune. I don't know.
All right, look, we're going to take that to the studio, auto-tune it. It's going to sound really, really great later on.
We've got a friend who knows a producer. It's going to be fine.
In all seriousness, we love you. I'm sorry that I can't give you a hug today, but I do appreciate you. Happy birthday. Please hang out and let us know about this stupid story we're going to create. But please, everybody, throw in the chats. Happy birthday, Sarah. If you're watching this anytime, just throw in the chats. Happy birthday, Sarah. And I'll let her know all the thousands of people that watch this and throw out birthday shout outs. So happy birthday, Sarah. And not to you, Khaleesi. You know who you are, you dirtbag. So
I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, he knows who it is. Okay. Anyway, so let's get on our show.
Oh, okay. Someone cool.
Well, okay. Well, now everybody knows his first name, Dan Khaleesi, dirtbag. Whatever. I'm just kidding. I love you too. Not as much as Sarah though, just so that that's on the record. Okay. So, how we start our show is while people are getting in the chat, we like to throw out some weird media news or pop culture stuff that I find out throughout the week and text Dylan about, and he refuses to respond to me. So that's why I save it for our live shows.
For the air. Yeah.
Yeah. You think it's story creation, but no, it's actually just text responses.
Yeah.
But obviously, the one thing that's going on right now that I can't stop thinking about and talking about is Wanda Vision. So, Wanda Vision, how do you feel? What's going on with the show?
I'm liking it so far. We got 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it. I've had a crush on Catherine Hahn for a long time, and this show just continues to reinforce that. So,
yeah.
If she's watching Catherine, you can call me or don't. That's weird. Come on.
Yeah, whatever.
She's not going to call me.
You can email us, I guess. Well,
yeah.
It seems more professional. Anyway, so things I want to talk about WandaVision. One, Monica
I still
Rambeau.
have that saved.
Yeah, good. Monica Rambeau. So we watched her origin story last week. We watched her pretty much turn into Photon or Captain Marvel or whatever it is that they're going to use. But do you know much about her character in the comics?
No, not much.
Okay. So she is probably one of the most overpowered players in comics. She has the ability of turning into any energy. She has the ability of absorbing all energy. She has the ability of looking at something. So when you see her blue eyes on WandaVision, what that is it's her understanding the technology. So the way that her powers work is when she comes across anybody for the first time, she might get say she's come across Agatha Harkness. Now, she doesn't know Agatha's power setting yet, but once she gets attacked by it, she will understand it, comprehend it, and be able to use it for her own. So she is like the human embodiment of the Black Panther suit. So she can absorb it, and then use it out. Also, she can alter light so that she can look invisible or be able to change her perception and look like anybody by just the way that her light moves. She is one of the coolest characters, and I'm very excited to see A, her origin story, but B, what they're going to do with her in the future. So with her having to connect with the next big person in this show and knowing Paul Bettany has a character that he's still excited to work with, who do you think this is?
Who do I think? I'm sorry. I'm looking up some. I heard the lead up. Please repeat the question.
Who do you think the big character of the series is going to be?
Well, so yeah, with Paul Bettany's interview about it being someone he's always wanted to work with and someone he looks up to. I don't know. How tall is Paul Bettany?
I mean, how tall is Vision or how tall is Paul Bettany?
6'3", so that kind of narrows it down. I think Cumberbatch is. Oh no! Wow, he's taller than Benedict Cumberbatch. Huh. Yeah. I don't know who he can look up to realistically. That's a tall order.
I think it's going to be Baron Mordo. I think that guy being an awesome British stage actor, somebody Paul Bettany would have come across. I think that Baron Mordo would be a very cool villain for the future. So
and he hasn't shown up since the Doctor Strange stinger. That's a good point.
Where his final statement was, "There's too many sorcerers." So
yeah,
it makes sense. Okay, so moving past that, the thing I want to talk about next is Billy and Tommy.
Yes,
the twins. Mm-hmm. Now, I wonder if anyone else picked up on how important this is to the MCU or to what's going on. Because as we know, Wanda is a mutate because she got her powers after birth. a mutant is somebody that is born with powers. So what we just watched in WandaVision was the birth of the first mutants in this MCU. Do you think this is a way, using Wanda's powers, either the Hex or anything else, that this is a fast way to get the X-Men into the universe?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Hex is, but I hope that her kids aren't real. That's part of the tragedy of the whole story for her, is that she creates this entire universe where she can have a family. Turns out she doesn't. And I hope that stings, and I hope they keep it. It's a really good character beat.
Yeah, it is amazing. And it's something that Elizabeth Olsen said years ago during the press of Age of Ultron. She was like, there's no way they'll do House of M. And she's super into that storyline even before they started this. So that's cool. Okay, so let's move past that and let's get on to what our show is.
Zack, quick question.
What? Oh, sure.
News broke the other day that Tom Holland had a horrific audition for Star Wars in the role of Finn. How do you feel that would have played out?
Tom Holland is Finn.
Yes.
I feel that he is a good actor, but I love Finn as a character as is. Finn, to me, was the most riveting part of Force Awakens. That is the one character that really sucked me into the fastest. Like, okay, I'm into this world. I'm into this universe. I love this movie. I think that if it was Tom Holland, it would have washed over me more and not been as impactful for some reason. I don't find as much of a presence to Tom Holland as there is John Boyega. For some reason, John Boyega has a lot more electricity just around him. When you look at him in anything, you're like, yeah, that guy's cool. Tom Holland is the perfect cast for certain things, but he
has yet to really hit anything. Cool. I found that news article and I'm like, I'm curious what Zack would think about that.
Yeah.
So I reversed the roles this week.
You should have texted me, but thanks for that quick question.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to be a surprise.
Yeah, thanks. If you want to see more weird quick questions, you can follow us on Twitter at Some Nobodies, where I throw them out to celebrities pretty much on the daily. Okay, so let's get into the next part of the show. And what we do here is, once again, like I mentioned, Dylan does not respond to a lot of my text messages. I sent him idea after idea after idea after idea throughout the week, and we chose this show to be the one that he chooses one of those text messages, and we're going to just work it out with your help. So, Dylan, if you would please read a message of a story you want to work on.
So I went back pretty far in our just text history, and I found one that had captured my initial attention I wrote down a while ago. Time capsule. Guy goes to where his high school buried a time capsule 25 years ago to get the now priceless action figure prototype he put in there. After he gets it, he notices time hasn't passed inside the capsule. Batteries are fresh, things are in mint condition, etc., and he tries to use it to his advantage. So, the idea of specifically, I think it's more I think what appealed to me was the realization that the time capsule, or at least the area around it, slows or completely halts time or entropy, if we want to go really high concept with it. And I was just thinking of ways that we could turn that into something. Yes, our mug from the Funny Sci-Fi Podcast.
Sorry, I was having one of those weird hard. You ever drink water and have that hard swallow where things get stuck here and you're like, what's that? I was going to mention red shirts, widows, and orphans.
Red Shirts, Widows, and Orphans Fund.
Yeah. Quick shout to them. Thank you guys very much. Yeah. It was awesome to be on your future show.
Very good time. I don't know if that episode's dropped yet, but tune in later. All right. Yeah.
We're going to have a good time on that show.
Yeah.
Time anomaly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right on. We're on board already. Cool. So
anomaly.
I was trying to think of what the kind of reasoning could be if we need one. I don't think we actually need a really strict reason why things are happening to slow time in this area. I think it would be fun if we made it a property of the location. So there's this weird spot in the Pine Barrens in Jersey.
Oh, nice.
Why
Love
not?
That place.
You're from the East Coast. Let's appeal to that. The Pine Barrens are this weird kind of desolate pine forest where the Jersey Devil hangs out. Yeah. And it feels like an appropriate place to have someone go. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, hey. It feels like an appropriate place to have a group of like high school kids go bury a time capsule, especially 25 years ago. So I'm gonna change. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I clicked the wrong banner. It's applicable. Oh man, we're all over.
I'm gonna put Dylan's phone number in the show notes, please.
I'm all over the place today.
Whenever that flashes, please just text Dylan. You saw it again. Okay, so obviously there's gonna be a person who. So for this to work, there needs to be a person that goes back to their time capsule and realizes it for some reason. And I think that it probably that makes me reaction.
You can email me. I don't care about that.
Yeah, that's true. So there needs to be a person that for some reason, probably by themselves, digs up their time capsule. Something I would have done as a teenager. We used to tell ghost stories in the Pine Barrens. Yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, it's 2 R's. 2 R's in Pine Barrens?
Yes, but it's an E at the end.
That's what I have. You probably can't see it there.
No.
No, we don't need it. It's fine.
No?
It's behind where my head is. It's spelled absolutely correctly.
I believe you. So I'm imagining I'm seeing this as I think it's either a movie or just an hour-long kind of like, you wouldn't call it a feature, but I guess it's kind of like a short film, like an hour-long, 45-minute thing.
So similar, like a made for TV movie.
Sure, why not? Why not?
All right. Sure, yeah. We haven't done that.
And I'm imagining the opening like 5 minutes is it's a bunch of kids on a class trip in high school. They're telling ghost stories in the Pine Barrens, and their cool teacher is like, "Hey, we talked about doing a time capsule. I hope everybody brought something that I told you to bring." They do the time capsule thing, and they find an appropriately weird looking rock that they can find later. And they're like, "All right, this is how we're going to bury it here. We're going to come back in however long, and we're going to dig it up." They do. We cut. I think you're right in that we need a reason as to why they go to the ghost of Lucille Ball. That could be the ghost story they're telling.
The ghost of Lucille Ball?
They're telling a ghost story about Lucille Ball. Yeah.
Wait, 20-some years ago?
She was alive. We'll start with them telling a ghost story about Lucille Ball, and one of the kids is like, she's still alive, right? Just because the show's not being made anymore doesn't mean she's dead. Just a little bit of comedy. Yeah.
So I think that this thing is the kind of thing where, because in my middle school, we did a time capsule where they're like, and then in 25 years, we're going to dig this up and see how the future's changed or something stupid. So let's say that let's use the same kind of idea that these kids in like a science class are putting a time capsule and in 25 years or whatever. Okay, so that's 90. So that's like 30 some years ago. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So that works.
31. Oh, wow. That long ago?
Yeah. Jeez. Well, Scott had been doing comedy at that time for about 5 to 7 years. So that makes sense. Yeah. So we're going to say that, let's say that the kid put something that is going to be very worth a lot of money in the future. And then magic cards. Dude, if there's a Black Lotus in there, that's a lot of money.
I meant that mostly as a running joke, but those are worth cash.
Yeah, when did the first Black Lotus card printed?
It's in alpha, so it's like 91.
I mean, that could still work though.
Could still work.
Let's say this is in 1992, right? And the kid puts this Black Lotus card there, and he's bullied because kids find Magic the Gathering funny. Hold on a second. All right, read that out loud.
What if the time capsule is also a portal to a different point in time? Things don't age, but things can be passed between decades through the capsule. I like that. Okay, so okay. I like that.
I have a question about that though. So if there's a spot in time that whenever you go to it, you can go back to it, does that spot also go through time? Like, say that you can go back to 1985, but in 1 year, would that mean that you can only go back to 1986 because that portal has to be on a linear trajectory as well?
So it only takes you 20 years into the relative past, or it takes you to a specific point in time?
Yeah, I guess that's what I was asking.
It's open to all time. I like this being like a second half revelation when he starts trying to take advantage of it, where it's like,
okay,
not only does time, it's not that time doesn't pass, it's that when you bury, that seems like go for it.
What? Okay, so if there's like the time capsule goes into like they bury a hole and the time capsule like falls down into a cave or something that would send you back in time.
So I'm going to use some D&D terminology here. It's a pocket dimension where it's a space where the entrance is fixed, but the time inside moves independently or is just frozen entirely.
Okay, all we have to do is set the rules for this. Okay. If she's in, I'm in.
Okay,
let's do that.
Cool.
All right, cool.
So you in the specific area in the Pine Barrens, there's like maybe there's like a hole in the rock or something they put it in, and then they cover that up, and it turns out that hole in the rock leads to a pocket dimension where time does not advance.
Okay.
That also allows this hole in the rock to be kind of there, so long as that rock is there. And I mean, as far as I know, rocks last forever. So,
all right, I'm into that.
Right.
So, what is the space finite inside of this rock?
I think so. I think
interdimensional postcards. Well, they don't always get where they're supposed to be, Sarah. We found out about that before. I'm just kidding. Sarah sent me a postcard probably 2 years ago, and I haven't got it yet. So I'm looking forward to it.
I like the idea that this is either a small area, or once you get through the opening, then it has a huge amount of space inside, and maybe there could be a comedy bit where the first person goes inside it, and they find a whole bunch of just like acorns that squirrels have been hiding in there, or like arrowheads, or gold coins from whoever who landed in Jersey at first. The British.
Oh, it was the devil.
Yeah, Satan is probably responsible for Jersey.
Devil first, and then probably Spaniards.
All right, that's fair. They have similar facial hair stylings, so yeah.
Okay, so they put this time capsule inside of something in 1992 that falls into a bit of a pocket dimension, right?
Yeah.
And they don't know that. Nobody knows that. They're going to dig this thing up in about 25 years, which would make this now what? 2017?
Is that what we're going with? What year are we going with the starting? 89?
92.
92.
Yeah. So 2016. Oh, what a good time, dude.
Depending on which half of 2016 you're talking about.
I'm in the earlier half. Things were great then.
Things were fine.
Better. Okay, so 1992, kids put a bunch of stuff in there, including a Black Lotus first edition card that he gets bullied to, that they get bullied to put into it. I don't know who these characters are yet. And then for some reason, 24 years later, in 2016, there is a Magic the Gathering surge, and everyone's playing. That card comes out that it's thousands of dollars. What's up?
No, I the Black Lotus, I think, is an example. I think we should make it some sort of. I like where you're going, but I think we should make it like some sort of other equivalent fake thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if we want to use a Black Lotus specifically, but I was thinking the reason they dig it up a little early. Yeah, it's a Macho Man Randy Savage Pog. I don't know if he's been 92 or not.
I'll tell you real fast, the best Pog I ever had in my entire life, and I had this in 1992. I had a metal. It was in the shape of a buzzsaw, so it had edges all around it. It was an O.J. Simpson in the slammer, and it was just a metal slammer, and it just had a picture of O.J. like behind bars. And I'm like, this thing is so cool. So maybe we could use that. However, I'm
having too much fun with these banners.
I know.
Anyway,
I'm glad you directed.
There are worse things to be dated for. But yeah, they put something valuable in there. Something kind of valuable, pop culture-y.
Yep.
And
so we flash forward to the year before they're going to dig it back up because this person wants money.
Either that, or I figured maybe the teacher died, and so they're doing it early as like, well, we waited, and he died, so we're just gonna surface, make it a little more sympathetic.
Okay, or do we want them to really be? You're trying to. Well, I was thinking of a dirtbag, but maybe a sympathetic group, because I was thinking that if whatever that thing that's very valuable is in there, it's valuable, but B, it technically hasn't aged at all. So it is the most pristine version of that thing ever, which would make them want to get it. But I do like the idea of like maybe a group. Okay, so let's do this. So on like 23 or 24 years after they do this time capsule, what?
We could combine the two. This guy's a dirtbag, and he goes, and like they get a group text message, and it's like, hey, we got to go dig up this time capsule. Mr. Campbell died, and it's like, oh, and then we see the guy, and he's looking on his phone, and it's like, Blackest Lotus sells for $510,000, and he's like, so he goes ahead of them and he digs it up early.
Well, or I mean, there's something to be said about what you were going down to begin with, which was their favorite teacher dies. Them getting the notification of the teacher dying has the group of ex-kids obviously back together, and then that's what sparks a memory. Like, wait, I put the Blackest Night card in there, and wait, would you call it the Blackest Lotus? Why is that better than Black Lotus?
I don't have anything better to call it.
Well, that's dumb. Anyway, and he's like, remember we put that in there? And the one guy's like, yeah, I also put my one copy of E.T. for Atari in there. And then the one girl's like, yeah, and I put my copy of whatever comic book she reads. And then they're like, we should just go get that back. So that's the start of it. All right, cool. So let's do that.
So it's 24.9 years later.
Yeah, we'll do whatever the two squiggly lines is called. 2 squiggly lines.
Oh, the little tilde.
Years. That's a tilde?
I think so.
I thought that was the actor in Snowpiercer.
No, I don't have anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm in the middle of taking notes.
Oh, whatever. You're making another banner.
No, I'm actually not.
Okay, so we're in 2016, and these kids find out that their favorite teacher from middle school or high school, whatever, has passed. And that sparks the memory. And I'm going to draw a light bulb here because that's how memory looks to people that are creative. And that sparks that. So now they're going to go dig this back up. And that's when they find out that nothing in this has changed.
And I think what we do, one of the, like, everybody's like, I put my favorite comic book. I put my favorite playing card. I put my favorite action figure. And one kid is like, man, I just put my hot dog in there. Like, something kind of goofy where it's like, oh man, that's, you're all going to get your valuable stuff back. I put food in there. And then they open it up and the kid, it's like a hot dog that's still warm from the fire. And that's how they first get the impression that it's like something weird is going on with this. Yeah.
Well, okay. So that's way more obvious than I was thinking. I was thinking they take that, whatever that thing is that's very valuable, to go pawn it. And this person's like, obviously this is a reproduction. And they're like, no, this thing is from 19 whatever. Look at the date. He's like, no, this is a reproduction. This thing was made literally 6 months ago. I have a carbon tester in my pawn shop. What do they test things? Is there like when you get like the jeweler loops? They have a jeweler loop for fake art.
A jeweler loop? A very small telescope.
Do you know what a jeweler loop is?
It's the little kaleidoscope that makes things bigger.
Yeah, I mean the second part is 100% right.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so which one do you like? Which one of these options do you like more?
I think it depends on how we want to characterize these people.
I think let's go with the hot dog. That's funnier.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, if we're doing this to not be like a feature length thing, I think we just kind of hit the notes. Like we don't try and preserve the mystery. We're like, right on. These guys found a place where things don't age. What are they going to do with it? Like, we get the mystery out of the way, and then we go into the capitalization. So I put my s'more, I put my s'more in there, and then it's like, oh, sweet. Wow, I like the tongue or something. Hot dog?
Hot dog.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they dig it up, and it's all pristine. What's the first thing they do then? Do they sell their stuff? Or are they more taken with the fact that this is happening?
No, I think they sell their stuff first. But there has to be some sort of intrigue, like what they're doing. And so maybe they think that it does something. Like maybe they think that it cooks food, or maybe they think that it goes back in time. Because at some point, what if someone from a different time puts extra stuff in there?
It's not only their time capsule, but there's also like a bunch of Spanish galleons or something, like gold coins, not the ship. And
okay, here's a question for you. Say you have this pocket dimension and you put a hot dog in there, where if you were to go back into it in 25 years later, the hot dog's still warm. But in that middle time, somebody opens it up and puts something else in there. Now, would that hot dog be from that time or from the original time?
I think from the original time. I do like this recommendation. There's a bite taken out of the hot dog.
Oh, okay, cool. There we go. I like that.
What if part of it is like they do a bunch of tests on it, and then one of the test items comes out changed.
Okay, so they start testing things to see what this thing does.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's cool.
They start testing the hole in the rock and see if things age. Everything seems pristine, but then they put food in, and they realize it connects them to. It's just a shared. It's just a timeless cubbyhole, effectively.
Okay. So, technically, if you put something in there, then it has always been there in this rock. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, until someone takes it out. Across any amount of time.
If you put something in there in 1992, and then somebody takes it out in the 1600s.
Yes.
Okay, because that's a pretty interesting concept there.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we going to do this? So we test things. Well, I guess, okay, so if this thing is throughout time, they're going to come back the next day to test it, and there's something else in there.
Yeah.
Right? Because throughout time, somebody's going to be throwing and taking stuff out of there constantly. So once they go back to test it, there's something new in there. Right?
Yeah, I think so. And now this is messing with time travel logic pretty badly, which I don't care about. We're not. This isn't a serious drama about time travel and its effect on people's relationships. This is a goofy thing about people trying to capitalize on a time pocket. Teacher could know about it, though. I don't know why the teacher wouldn't share it when they were all camping nearby. You know what I mean?
No.
Like if they're all out in the Pine Barrens with the teacher, and the teacher's like, let's put a time capsule in here. I don't see why the teacher wouldn't just reveal the secret then, as opposed to wait 25 years. Unless
maybe this teacher's devious and he gets people to put valuable things in there that he knows is going to be worth money. Well, I lost that sentence as I started it.
That I think I like it. I feel like we're starting to spread our ideas as to where this is going.
Wait, where's this going?
Well, that's the thing. I think we have a bunch of ideas, and I think we might need to start narrowing some of these down. If only because, like, unless you just want to spit stuff at the wall and see what sticks for a while.
Well, let's go down a path of what would the final thing be in this scenario? What are we trying to get to?
So
maybe we get to the kids doing one of those things where they think it's valuable and they start killing each other off until there's one left. That person goes into the time capsule because they're crazy, and they turn into the teacher that told them about all this to begin with.
Okay. I'm only smirking because I'm currently in the 3rd season of the 12 Monkeys series from Sci-Fi.
I haven't watched that yet.
It goes off the rails in a very beautiful way in the 3rd season.
Okay, so they don't need to be the teacher at the end, but I think that it should end with them going into the tunnel to see. That's our end.
That does feel like a logical question, is like, now if we put a living thing in here, can it crawl out in any of these different times?
Well, so here's my problem with that is if you put a human in there and time stops.
Oh, bye, Sara. Happy birthday.
Sara, I love you. Happy birthday, Sara. Have a great rest of your day, girl. I love you. I'll talk to you later. So if you put something live in there and there's no time, like they just say time stops,
sure.
That means that those cells would never regenerate or die off. So that thing technically could not live, but it would not age.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Because its body, is there oxygen in there?
I would assume if it's open, oxygen can flow in and out.
I don't know. This is a pretty big paradox that we would need to figure out. I wish Red Flanagan was here to help with this a little bit.
He said he was going to be here. That's all right.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Let's just work this out. Okay, so we know that we're going to get to one of these kids who is no longer a kid. They are now 40 years old. So one of these 40-year-olds crawls into this rock hole. Wait, what are we calling this? Rock and hole?
I don't think we need to worry about titles yet.
Okay, that's fair.
Rock and hole.
So, not rocking, like rock and hole.
Yes,
rock and roll.
If this was more musical, I'd be more willing. I'd be more open to that.
Well, we haven't got this middle section. There's plenty of room for a song.
There's plenty of room for a musical number.
Okay, so let's get this going.
So they put food in. It comes out with a bite in it. They're like, Zack, you're starting stuff again.
I honestly didn't think he ever watched the show, so I wasn't prepared for this moment. I'm gonna sip on some water.
Cool. I will fill the air. So they find out that something is linked here. How do they test this? How do they test out that it's a different time? Do they send
like I said,
do they send a drone in, like with a camera?
Oh. No.
No? Okay.
But where would that go? It can't go anywhere until somebody else opens it. I was your biggest fan. I didn't know that. I don't think we've had any suggestions from this person before.
I've never seen this guy in our chat before in my life.
I'm just kidding. Dan Khaleesi, I love you. As much as Sara any day but today. Today, this is Sara's day. But I do love you, Dan Khaleesi. Hey, Dylan, remember when you used to come over my house and we would watch a lot of cool movies on Plex?
Yes.
Okay, this is the guy that cut off my account for this. So he's like, you know what, Zack can't watch movies anymore. Okay, cool. Let's hop back in here. Okay, so I think that once they go back to test this thing, if there's something else in there, that would let them know either A, that somebody came after them and put it in there, or that it is a time thing. So if that thing is a futuristic thing, that would let them know, hey, what's going on?
I'm assuming this isn't technology. This is just a weird anomaly. I think Sara was right when she said this is a weird time anomaly. I like that. That's fine. That's easy.
I wrote that down.
I don't know if we need to have them explore. I really like the idea of them trying to capitalize on this, where they're like, guys, this is anti-aging right here. It's like, we should open a spa.
So what? Okay, is that what you would do if you found a pocket dimension where things never aged? You would try to open a spa?
No.
What are some things you would do? How would you make money off that?
I don't know if I would try to make money off it. I've seen enough science fiction where I know that's a bad idea.
I think that maybe is there anything in the food industry, since food can't go bad?
Oh, you could keep your avocados ripe. Just stuff a ripe avocado in there, and you're good for whenever you want it.
Yeah, say they have like a food truck that is beside this hole, wherever this thing is, and they start getting really good Yelp reviews because their food is phenomenally fresh.
Despite the fact that they're parked their truck in the middle of the Pine Barrens.
Nobody knows.
They start a campground based around this like restaurant.
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it. We're going on a restaurant show later this week, aren't we? We're doing something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so if the food, that's funny because if the food goes in and comes out with a bite in it, they have to think of ways to stop it from being eaten by people in the past. So they put notes in it. They write notes. They put like a mouse trap in there or something.
Yeah, so a lot of shenanigans can ensue because, say, anybody from the past or future finds out about this and they are hungry or whatever, they're going to know this is a supply of food. So now we got to start putting booby traps into this hole and making sure that stuff can be safe. And maybe they start putting lockers in there, and then it's a time locker.
How big Time Locker sounds like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, you said that like it's a bad thing, and
no, it's not a bad thing at all.
I'll slight you for that.
What size do we want this to be? The space and the entrance, like
I mean, big enough for a human to get into, but small enough that a human would not want to be in it.
Okay, cool. I say that things last inside it. They're universally inside it until someone removes it, but people can only exit based on their natural time flow. So you can't use it to keep people ageless. You know what I mean?
But can you use it to keep food ageless?
I say so because the lovely thing about doing soft science fiction like this, where the rules are not capable based on our modern understanding of physics and science, is that we can kind of just treat it like magic. And we can sidestep a lot of that stuff where we can say anything biological has its own internal progression and is not affected by this. Your body's going to continue to age because your body is still there. But food and inanimate objects don't.
Yeah, we could easily do a thing where at some point in this middle part, one of the characters is like, what happens if a human goes in here?
Yeah.
Or an animal, probably a human. And they go in there and they start suffocating right away, because they just can't breathe. So they know that nothing live can be in there.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't age, air doesn't age, carbon dioxide doesn't age, human cells don't age. That causes you to die quickly. So let's just do that. That way we can cut that whole life in there thing.
We address the question and we move past it.
Yep. So we got a food truck now where people are putting time food in this hole in the rock, and they're starting to get some pretty rave reviews because of this.
This is supposed to be like 2016-ish, right? When we start this, 2017. So they can do it as like, no, we do it as one of those like weird guerrilla food trucks where it's like we post an obscure picture of our location, and then it makes sense why we're that sort of thing. They decide to start a guerrilla food truck. Gorillas in the Mist. No, all right.
What's the mist part?
I don't know. Reference to it being obscure and hard to find.
No.
I'm just throwing stuff out there. It's fine.
All right.
So they start a food truck, and then I'm assuming people start coming to call to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
They have to like foil the authorities. They have to foil like the Food and Drug Administration. And whatever the Trenton Department of Sanitation. Because they're in Jersey, right? So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Trenton is the only town I can think of in Jersey.
That's definitely a town in Jersey. Yeah. Let's see.
Manhattan. No? Okay.
Jersey wishes. You're looking for just a town, Cherry Hill.
Sure.
All right.
I don't know. Wherever is near the Pine Barrens, it doesn't have to be a real place. It just needs they need a foil so that they can have their shenanigans to try and hide this time pocket from people.
Well, Stockton College is in the middle of the Pine Barrens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, son.
Cool. It's a hippie college.
Even better. They'll sell they'll make their own kombucha.
Yeah, they last forever.
Nope, they have to make the kombucha outside of the time pocket because the bacteria inside the time pocket doesn't advance or anything. Doesn't ferment. So they're like, no, we have a very limited menu for a very specific reason. What is that reason?
It's got to be very fresh.
It's like a burger restaurant. We do burgers, shakes, and fries. Anything else is not worth the time.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so what's the foil here to what starts things going bad?
Do we want to have an overzealous food some sort of a
food podcaster?
Food reviewer?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you get your shipments out here? We drive into town. How often? Yeah. We just do shenanigans. It's only a 45-minute short film.
Yeah, cool. Like that?
Yeah.
So there's a food reviewer, and they're a little too investigative.
Yeah.
Investigative.
Inquisitive.
Right? Inquisitive. Love it. And they swerve their podcast into a true crime because they don't understand how these people are doing this. They can't. Wait, how are they doing it though?
What do you mean?
Well, when do they put the food in the time cave?
Instead of using a fridge?
They do
or a freezer.
They do a Bill and Ted thing where it's like, I gotta remember to put food in that fridge later.
Yeah, why not? And every once in a while they have to change the mouse traps or something like that, or maybe
so they can technically use the sales they have of a day to go buy the food to put in there at nighttime that they can use for the day before.
Well, that's not bad. Yeah,
that's crazy.
They screw with time in that way. Yeah. Hey, we have very specific logging standards so that we don't get this confusion happening again. What do you mean? We had grilled cheese on the menu, and all we had was spaghetti and meatballs. It was John's day off. He didn't have time to change the sign, so we were selling spaghetti and meatballs for the cost of a grilled cheese, and that's a huge loss, Marty. And they start getting at each other's throats about it because they're confusing their time logs or something like that. And we dive into just how mundane it is to run this weird external time restaurant.
Yeah, and then we get down to the reviews that each employee has to have their reviews about when they're using the time fridge properly.
Yeah.
And all right, that's cool. So run me through this story real quick as what we have so far.
So we have a group of high schoolers in the Jersey Pine Barrens. They're on a camping trip in 1992. Their teacher has them put a bunch of valuable or interesting stuff in a time capsule in a hole in the rock, and they vow to open it in 25 years. It falls into a pocket dimension where time doesn't advance. They don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. We skip 24 and a half years later. They get a notification that the teacher died, and they're like, hey, it was almost about time to dig up that time capsule. Let's do it right now. So they go in, they pull out all their stuff. Turns out everything's in mint condition. The kid who put a hot dog in there is like, hey, my hot dog's still in here. Takes a bite. It's still hot. It's perfect. They start testing it to see what this hole in the rock does. Do we want to do the part where the food comes out with a bite in it, or do we not want to have? I figure we're kind of moving away from that.
Yeah, we can cut that out.
So it turns out that this is a time pocket where anybody at any point in time can put something in there, and so long as it remains in there, it can be removed by someone else who has access to the entrance. One of them is they're going to culinary school or something, and they're like, this thing is like a freezer in time. And it's they try putting a person in there, doesn't work out. They decide to start a food truck because the college nearby, whatever college you said that is,
Stockton.
Stockton. What a cumbersome name. But they decide to start a food truck out there because they have a really esoteric way of thinking about the world and what to do with
it.
Yeah. They have to foil authorities from Cherry Hill. They have to foil people from the Food and Drug Administration. There's a food podcaster who starts doing a weird, podcast about this strange pop-up that appeared in the Pine Barrens one day. Everybody seems normal, but are they? And then we get a bunch of shenanigans about this, it's time logs, and the business starts to tear these friends apart. And then what?
I would assume that...
Go for it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What are you assuming?
I was going to say that I assume that this podcaster kind of comes back and starts asking too many questions, and one of the people probably murders them.
They shove them in the time locker?
Yep. And then the next day or something, they're not there.
Yeah. What if...
Turns out the podcaster was the meat that the podcaster reviewed because they had to eat. I don't know. Whenever we start doing time travel, it's like, wait a minute. What if this person? Wait.
It's time travel. That's natural for the genre.
Okay, then they're gonna eat. Then they're gonna eat themselves.
Fake cannibalism, auto cannibalism.
So
the podcaster had a bad burger or something. The podcaster had a bad meal, but it turns out that meal wasn't ever on the menu. The guy on duty just used whatever he found in the time locker.
Yeah. And it just so happened that...
Well, I like the idea that they get that first bad review, and it's like, well, what day did he come? What did he eat? He came on Tuesday, right? Isn't that flatbread day? It's like, we didn't have flatbread in the cool. I was late. I'm sorry. It's like, you have no excuse to be late. I was late, so I made chili. I made chili with the meat that we had in the time locker. What meat did we have in the time locker? I mean, chili day is on Saturday, so presumably chili meat. And then it turns out nobody questions it because they don't have... These are a bunch of just fresh out of college kids or 30-somethings.
Well, they're 40.
Yeah. Well, if they're in high school, they're 15 in high school, 25 years later. Oh, yeah, that would be 40.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming they're not trained restaurateurs. I'm assuming they are not keeping strict logs on who put what where. So it's like, did someone put chili meat in the time locker? Someone probably did. And then it turns out
somebody will have. But so they could have killed the podcaster person and cut them up and threw them in there, knowing that it would be used. They go, oh wait, so I guess this was the, because if it's time travel, then at some point you're like, wait, was this the meat that they ate? And then they grind it up and throw it in there, knowing that that's the meat that the podcaster has to eat.
Either like that or no, I do. I had this idea. I had this flash of insight where it's just like one day it stops working completely, just out of nowhere. It's like they go into reach and they stub their finger on the back of the hole. They're like, wait, and then they try to run they're like, well, we could always try running a normal. Hello, Jason.
Jason Taylor.
Running a normal food truck, and they're like, we've got all this disposable income from that stuff we sold.
Yeah.
You guys just want to... I say bail. You say bail? I say bail. I vote bail. I say, yeah, all right. And then it's just like, we never know what happened that summer where we ran the time locker food truck.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think
nothing profound. We just will never know what happened.
Cool. Yeah. Wait, are we getting rid of the food critic that eats himself?
I'm into keeping the auto cannibalism, but I think it needs to be a little more concrete, a little tighter as far as like how that gets set up. I'm cool with it.
I think I mapped it out pretty well.
I think you did. I'm being unfair.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
You always think out your cannibalism justifications. I'll say that. You always have a justification on hand for why you resort to that.
That's true. If you ever want to eat yourself, come to me and I'll give you rational reasons why you should. Okay, so we have this cool little food truck fiasco going on here. And because of rave reviews and a food critic and them eating a bad steak sandwich, that they were the only ones that were allowed to eat for some reason.
It was like, I'd love to schedule a review. It's like, yeah, sure. And it's like they're about to set up or they're closing, and it's like, wait, nobody told me you were coming. It's like, I'm on the schedule. It's like, we don't keep a schedule. Marty, like someone's notoriously bad at keeping a timetable. And it's like, who booked you? Guy Martin? And they just like turn around and they're fuming. And they're like, all right. And they just reach in and grab whatever's there. And it's like it's just a slab of meat. And they're like, pork? I get doing pork chopped sandwiches. Flip, meat. They give it to him. He's like, this is good. Not very, the surroundings are unique. It's like, yep, that's why we're here. Where do you store your ingredients? Fridge cooler in the back. Can I see it? No. He writes something down in his notebook and like looks up at him and then leaves. It's like, and the guy on Marty. Like Marty's the guy who had the hot dog. I'm deciding that. Okay. He's probably played by like, I don't know.
Giovanni Ribisi.
Sure. Yeah, why not? Yeah. And then things proceed there, and Marty winds up killing the food critic when he comes by and puts him in the time locker. And does he ever come clean about that?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Okay, so we got like 1 minute. Do you want to work on a name for this thing? We have like a time fridge. Well, we use the word time a little bit too often, so maybe not that. Maybe hot pocket dimension.
Sounds awful. The hot pocket.
Fair.
I never not as a title. It sounds like a good title, but if someone asked me like, "Hey man, you ever been to the hot pocket dimension?" I'd be like, "No, thank you. It's blisteringly hot towards the edges, and towards the inside it's just cold."
But it's comfy though, like a nice pocket should be.
I guess. Pocket bites.
Pocket bites?
No, that could be the name of the food truck.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm into that.
Something about like maybe deep freeze, because it's like a cooler. No. Freeze.
What's that got to do with time?
Nothing, but time is frozen inside this time locker.
We'll figure that out. Anyway. Yeah, trust me, we're going to come up with some weird name. And if you look at this video later on, most likely I'm going to have a very stupid picture of me and Dylan as a fish, and one of us is bringing up this topic. Time freeze? Do we like that?
Feels a little on the nose, but it's better than anything else we came up with.
Wait, what did I say? Oh, time locker. That wasn't good. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate any attention that we get. We are starved for it. Please give us some more attention. If you want to see or hear or read or anything else that Some Nobodies does, you can just go to our website, which is right up here, somenobodies.com. Also, Dylan put it at the very bottom under some of our weird logos here. Also, if you want to help us and you want to push our buttons a little bit and make us and force us into making some more stuff, you can always go to patreon.com/Some Nobodies and you can help us out and fund some of our stuff. We're working on a movie right now. We are currently in production of a movie. We can say that officially now.
Yeah.
You can check. You can right. You can check that out on IBM or IMDb if you want to find us on there. Whatever. But there's some people that we do need to thank for their awesome support and all their continued help. Sara Tkachuk, obviously, it's her birthday today. Everyone, please, if you know Sara, just give her a hug. Give her a virtual hug. Give her a card. Give her a text message that just says the word hug. Anything at all. She's awesome. Scott Curtis with Behind the Bit. If you guys like podcasts at all, you're into interview-style podcasts, what's better than an award-winning podcaster? I can't think of anything. So if you're into that, you can go check out Behind the Bits at any podcast app or anything that you listen to, whatever. You can also Google Behind the Bits. Scott Curtis is an award-winning interviewer. He's an awesome podcaster. He's an okay comedian as well, but he likes to get down to behind the bits. He likes to understand what makes comedians tick, and that's why his show's so great. Tanya Sheck, also a great supporter, great fan of ours. We are huge friends of hers, and we love her and obviously her support as well. Listener app. If you do like podcasts, but you want to read the words instead of listening to them, or both, whatever, if you want to save those jokes so you can retweet them later on, you can find them at Listener app. You can go to Instagram at The Greatest Podcast App. Also, the Eid Foundation, awesome charity network. What they're trying to do is make sure that people around the world can play chess. It's a great game, stimulates a lot of the brain parts. They're awesome people. Jim Eid is a very, very awesome dude. And please go check them out, the Eid Foundation. And I don't know, I'm going to probably stop talking soon. So you can find us on Talking UpStream on Sundays. You can find us here on Tuesdays. You can find me doing random stuff throughout the week. I don't know. Until then, guys. Well, first, Dylan, thank you.
Hey,
just
thank you.
I wish that I had like so many. I say so many words. I wish I had so many words for how much I appreciate your friendship. You're awesome. You're creative, and you're kind of cute too. And I appreciate you. So thank you for everything you did.
Right back at you, brother.
Okay. Until next time, guys. I'm Zack. He's Dylan. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. Some Nobodies. Check us out. Bye, guys.
Take it.
Thank you.